What's up, everyone? So hopefully you've already watched the snake side breakdown. This is going to be the Dorito side here. Just as a refresher, let me zoom up so we can see exactly what it is that we're going to be doing. So when we're looking at the layout, we're going to be splitting it right down the middle. So the pins and everything over, we're going to have the Dorito side, and then hopefully you've already seen the snake side breakdown, but that's the snake side of the home and everything over there. So since we don't really have anything in the middle, like the very, very center, we're just going to consider it to be two separate videos and get into it. So let's look here. Now remember, we want to make sure that we're looking at who is it that can shoot us on in the same way that we want to see who we can shoot. So it doesn't matter if I can get to a bunker and shoot 109 people if I get there and I'm shot 2 steps out. So that's not going to be helpful. What I do really like from this home is this shot coming through here and then being able to see what is it or how far did they get on this Dorito side. This is solid. So this is definitely... I feel like you're going to see guys maybe double this up and then someone can filter out and over up into that snake side. But here, man, this is really solid. So you can see if they are going across, seeing like how deep they are. So, you know, if you look real quick and just look at the box, are they setting up like they're going to be going deep, or are they going to be going a little bit more shallow? And then you can shoot into that. We already know that the snake side has a shot across as well, so you could kind of double that up. But what I really like is this shot here. And let's see if there's any blinds that we might be able to get. Oh yeah, for sure. So it looks like there is a blind into this zone as well. You can't shoot into this one, but one that I really like is this, and then also shooting into here. So it's going to be really hard for them to surprise you on the Dorito side. I think the Dorito side for this home is real solid to just first impressions, to be able to shoot into really to see a lot on the Dorito side. Like we saw on the snake side, I think it's going to be a lot more of a heads up. You have to have 2 in the snake. So it might be more of like a 2-1-2 kind of situation. Maybe even a 3-1-1 as we look into this a little bit more. But yeah, that back center shooting Dorito ways, it looks really, really good. So let's go across. Like a beard hair in my mouth. That was gross. So we already know about this shot coming across. So making sure that you're being mindful of that. So going gun up and shooting across into that can might work. I think the issue is that they're able to get there a little bit quicker. So this might be one of those situations that you have to dive out. Definitely try it and see if you can get the cross shot, because what you are going to gain here is the shot into the snake. Now the issue is that as you come across, you're shooting here, and then you're hitting the pin and then shooting into the gap again. So they might be able to flash through there, but you'd have eyes to see, did they go into that shallow section or did they try to go deeper? So that could be something. And then if they're not in the snake, this might not be terrible to be able to shoot into, so long as they don't have someone else in this can, because they can wrap it and shoot up over the top and drop it into you. Let's look and see. Yeah, I mean, the pin might block you out enough, but it just needs to be moved over a little bit, and you're not going to have a good time. If they're not past this can, though, shooting your mirror across here looks real good. Now, something else that I'm seeing right now that you guys definitely need to try is this. So shooting off that little Dorito might bounce right into, if it would, come on, let me draw. Right, bounce into the can. So if it kind of skips off here, it might go into the can on your mirror. So that could be something that helps you out, just as a way of, if they kind of put you in, you can shoot the bounce into there. But if they are trying to make a move, you can shoot the bounce, and then you can also go and shoot into this gap here. So that could be a possibility, but we'll have to see when we get out and start shooting at each other. I'm going to go out to the Dorito side, and then we'll move back into the center, just like we did on the snake side. So as we're moving out to here, this run out here looks pretty safe. It looks like your zone, if you stay low, you should be okay to dive out into this Dorito 1. Yeah, because we can see here, I can see the top of the Aztec. Let me go up. So the top of the Aztec is right here. So they can shoot up over the top, but if you run shallow and dive low, I think you should be okay from there. If it's someone that's taller or the brick is deflated a little bit, that's when you can definitely have some issues. But yeah, you just want to be mindful of that. But I that would be something I wouldn't mind throwing out there as an option just to try to get wide. Could you continue just going through? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough for them to get into this tower to shoot into this gap, so you might actually be safe just to dive and go straight around up into this little wedge. So let's go up into here. So you definitely can't see anything down the wire, so they're going to be all the way in the 50 if you're not careful. Let's look here. Okay, so some shots from the snake can come in. You can shoot into the head of the snake, into both of them, but it's really not that great. This might just be kind of like a secondary or like a transition bunker to get up into that next Dorito. But let's look here into this little Dorito. Is it even worth going into? The only thing that I'm seeing right now is that you can wrap and shoot into this gap. You're just really open to here, but you might have, that bounce probably isn't going to work. I was going to say maybe bounce it off the can and try to bounce it into the back center, but that's a pretty far bounce. I don't know how useful this little Dorito is going to be other than if somehow they all got shot going out this way. You can sit right here and just pump this gap and they'll never make it out. It's such a far gap for them to try to get through. So they don't really have a lot of options to be able to shoot into you. They might try to bounce it off here and bounce it in, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem that great. So this little Dorito, I don't see a huge reason to go there. But if we get into this next Dorito, something that is going to be interesting is the pinball that's going to happen in here. Definitely shooting into and off of these other bunkers here. If they're in the Dorito side, there's going to be some stuff that skips around in here. So that could be a threat for sure. So if you're trying to play tight and they start bouncing off of any of the bunkers, just be careful, especially off this 50 brick. It looks like it's going to be able to bounce a little bit better than some of these. But if they bounce it low, I mean, maybe it can kind of skip in. But if you're shooting down the wire and you're trying to hold someone, kind of throwing some every once in a while off these other bunkers could be a good thing. Looking inside, I don't see a huge benefit just because it doesn't really seem all that great. You do have a good wrap shot, though, on the home. And let me just see. Ooh, that might work. Let's look. Let me zoom out a little bit more and show you what I'm looking at. So from there, that might work. It's going to be kind of sketchy just because if you have someone shooting down the wire, they can definitely hit you. But yeah, you just want to try stuff. I mean, this is a bounce that might work. Who knows? Might not, but could be worth trying, especially if you can get here pretty quickly. And because we saw how great the back center is to shoot into those gaps, yeah, I mean, it might be worth it to see if that, no, absolutely, not might. Absolutely, it's worth it to see if that bounce works. Because if you can get here and all they can do is shoot the gap, but you can shoot the bounce, that's going to help put them in so that way you can dive across and start going to work. But just know that you're going to have to battle that guy a little bit. Let's get into this wedge, get into a normal height again, kind of turn it so that way we can look at everything. So down the wire, you're going to get surprised. So just know that it's not great. They're going to be able to get up into the 50 brick pretty much unseen. So you just want to be careful with that. Just be mindful of it. The inside shots into the snake aren't great, but you might be able to surprise them, like maybe if they're posted down the wire. But I mean, if they'd have to be sticking up a little bit. But yeah, I'm wondering if this is another one of those, like you're looking for the wrap to go. Because then you'd be able to put in the tower as well as the Aztec, being mindful of this guy. And the snake one And actually, there's a lot of gaps you have to fight through. So this one, trying to get sneaky, is definitely going to be good. So let's see here. What about this Dorito? The only thing I don't like with this Dorito is this. If they get wide and you don't see it, they come all the way up and wrap and destroy you. So you need to have a two-man operation here. And actually, I wonder, so the back center can see that. So this could be part of the two-man operation. It's a far shot, but you can shoot into these gaps and at least be able to tell your player, like, hey, there's a 50 brick, be careful, or the 50 Dorito, whatever it is that you guys are going to call it. So that is definitely something, yeah, that's definitely something that could be helpful as a two-man operation there. It's just a far shot, but that home, I don't know, I kind of am liking that home a little bit more now, just because of the fact that you can shoot into those gaps. But let's look and see. It's high risk, high reward. You know, you just want to kind of balance all of that out. So looking at the risk here would mainly just be to get across. Of course, being careful of the brick, but we're going to look at that in a minute. So this guy, once they get here, you could surprise them here too. Because you can get out to the wire and take a step out and shoot someone trying to wrap this real hard. So making sure that you have what looks like a two-man operation in the snake, one looking down the wire and another one being able to shoot inside or looking to go for on the attack, and then another two-man operation on this Dorito side where someone is able to shoot into the gap or is able to play the outside here to wrap and shoot. But then actually no, I don't like that. I would rather have someone go from either the back center or somewhere else in the middle to shoot into the gaps so that you can better protect your guy as they move up. So maybe even having a player in the outside and then another player on the inside Doritos, I don't know, could be something. Is it worth getting into their Dorito? Of course, you know, you get to their side, it's always going to be a little bit better. So let's move around into looking at this tower. So this tower might not be, initially I was thinking it might be a little too much. You might have to dive out. Let me go up so I can explain what I mean. So, zoom out a little bit more. So this is what I mean by that. This can is able to shoot through this gap. If you have it where a player is going into this zone, they have to get into about here to be safe and then run up into here. So it's not impossible for them to dive out and up. It's just that if they are shooting low, this player runs the risk of getting shot. If the can is shooting high, this player is able to dive underneath the lane and then go across into there. So you're kind of hoping that they're picking a higher shot. If they pick the lower shot, you might need to, I don't know, possibly do something different. This is kind of crazy. I just looked at this. It could be kind of crazy to do this, where you run up and use this pin to block you out and then go across like that. But then you run the risk of the back center shooting through here. So yeah, I mean, this is a real sketchy run off the break. But that's what I meant by that guy being able to shoot into that gap. Is it worth the risk? That's the real question. Is it worth running up into there? Do they have a shot that's so good that it's worth it? And to be honest, right now, I'm not seeing anything that is worth a huge risk like that. Because these shots, I have the same thing from the back center. These shots I can get elsewhere, or they're probably going to be in the snake anyway. The only one that would be worth it would be to shoot into here. But even then, the home is able to shoot into these other gaps. So whatever, let them get over to here, and then we can stop them over here. Is there a blind shot that might be worth it? I mean, maybe this. Maybe. This is like one of the big maybes. And even then you have to risk a lot because you have to lean back, shooting up over the top of here to shoot into that snake, so that gap across there, which again, if they've already dove across into there, it's not good. So yeah. Anyways, I don't think that this is going to be worth that huge risk to go across like that into. So let's look though if it's worth the move into the brick. So this is one that we already know that the Dorito side, you have some good shots in here. If they're in the tower, it's going to be pretty easy to come and get you. It looks like by the time you get here, they're already in the snake. If they're not in the snake already, then they've really, really messed up. So then you run the risk of getting shot in the back here. I don't know that this brick is really worth getting up to unless it's late in the game. It seems like it doesn't seem like it's worth the risk to go all the way up there like that, because you can do the same job from a lot of different areas. So will players go up there? Probably, but I don't know. It seems like, if I get wide, not on top of the Dorito, get back down. What are you doing? Can I get wide and maybe beat them? They might be able to still get through here by the time you get here. We didn't look at this on the snake side, so I know technically I'm... Oh no, we did see this. Yeah, this guy shoots right into here and just destroys this guy. Yeah, that's not worth it. That is not worth it at all. I feel like what you're going to see is a lot of players in the... Go up. You're going to see a lot of players in the home to shoot into these gaps, going wide to try to get as wide as possible, so that way they can maybe beat someone to the 50 brick here. But this guy has such a good shot into these gaps that I don't really know if it's worth it for someone to go up into here. This is a huge risk. Like, there's so much ground to cover. Even someone coming here and then running across, I don't think it's really worth it. You can do the same job shooting into there if you send someone right away into here to shoot into that gap. The wedge, you can shoot into there as well, and at least you can switch and help out the snake a little bit more. I don't know if these bunkers are going to be super, super useful. Now, this is all first impressions, so who knows? I could be completely wrong, but this is definitely something that I don't know. I don't know that it's worth going up into here, and obviously a pin is not going to be super helpful, but I really feel like you're going to see a lot of guys in that back center shooting the gaps, and then maybe one or two going out wide this way, and then having two, maybe a 3-1-1 situation. So 3 players on the snake side, and then you're able to have a player kind of on an island, so that way they can get out, and then you have someone that can follow them up, or maybe a 2-1-2. That could work as well. Yeah, well, that's why we go out and go play each other, right? So so that is my kind of first impressions here, the Dorito side. I feel like it's going to be quick. There's going to be a lot of good gunfights because they have to battle some people to get across. So the really smart and sneaky players that can get up into spots that are able to shoot into the gaps and just bait players to go through is going to be great. That's when these would actually be good. If you can get there unseen and then bait someone to go through, you're going to smoke people all day. It's just the issue is that when you're sitting here, they can come up the snake side, and you get shot in the back. And it doesn't take much. I think they can get right into here and shoot across. Now, if you're posted on this side, then they have to get to your snake, but then they have your whole back. So it's not a great situation for you on that. But it should be good. I think snake is probably going to be the first punch, is what it looks like. And then you're going to have a Dorito side push after that. I don't see the center being played a whole lot as like a push. Not that you can't get into their side and do some damage, but it really seems like you're going to have a big push on the snake. And then if it's that war of attrition, then some guns will switch and then Dorito side can go up. But tell me what you think in the comments down below. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in Texas. And as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.